Well, everybody, here we are again, and our electric bill, it's gone through the roof again. We're not sure what's going on. We're hoping some of you can help. And I have done my very best to actually nail down what it actually is. And if you don't know yet, we've already done many videos on this. When we first moved to this house a little over 6 months ago, our first bill came in at 14,000 pesos, and it was 950 kilowatt hours. We were shocked by this. Didn't make any sense trying to figure it out. We did have a water leak, so maybe, the pump was running way too often. And it was many times a day. It now runs maybe twice a week max. So it's definitely not the water pump. Bills continue to go. We did get it down a bit when a friend of ours said, okay, I'm going to come and have 5 of my electricians come and check out every line. He found a grounded line. To this day, that grounded line has been switched off. So no lights work in our living room, in the front entrance, in the main bathroom, none of them. No water heater, all that's gone. And we also had a wire run from our AC unit, which is an inverter type, to the panel so that we at least have electricity for that one item downstairs. Again, nothing seems to matter. It went down a little bit, but we were way too often and to really understand. And then this bill comes in last month, and it was pretty bad. It wasn't the worst. It was 750 kilowatt hours, and again we were confused. Now we're just going to give you some scope and background on all of this, so that if you're going to help in the comments with some suggestions, as many of you always do, that are very helpful. Let me give you the whole context of it all. We keep our air conditioner, like our split air con inverter, that's downstairs at 29 to 30 degrees when we're going out for an hour or something like that, or during the day when we're just not down there. And just to help it so that it's not going to get excruciatingly hot, and then the air conditioner has to work super hard a couple hours later. And then during the night, the lowest we'll ever put it is 26, and that's rare. It's really 27 or 28 degrees Celsius, the only air conditioner that'll be running in the house. Outside of that, a few lights, that kind of thing. And that's about it. And a lot of people thought, well, it's your window air conditioners that you guys have in your 2 studio offices, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, that made a lot of sense. I said, okay, well, they are brand new, but you never know, right? They were quite cheap. They were only 9,000 pesos each, had little half horsepowers, because we're just doing one little room each. But a friend of ours had this made up for us. So this is a meter. Sorry, the light's reflecting on it. This is a meter here, and you can see they had it wired in. Instead of being hardwired into the house, for example, they had the wires installed. So we have a plug over here, and on the other side we plug in. So we are able to test all of our appliances in our house and see how much kilowatt hours that they use. And the results were actually pretty surprising because it wasn't as bad as we thought. For an entire month, I ran the air conditioner here last month in my room, in my office, because I spend the most time in here because I do all the editing. And so this room is the most used. And for the entire month of it running at 27 to 29 degrees is what I keep it at, it was 90 kilowatt hours. So yes, a big amount, but that should be our biggest thing in our whole house. Then I tested Bianca's. And the same sort of thing, but she doesn't use it as often. And so we just did some math on it, and I'm going to go really high on it and say 50 kilowatt hours for her. But honestly, she's nowhere near as often in hers than I am in mine. Our fridges are big. We have a large size fridge. And, I thought, okay, maybe that. And it has like a power inverter thing on there that prevents power outage surges, that kind of thing. And so I plugged that in, ran it on there, and no, it works out to 50, just under 50, like 49.8 kilowatt hours per month. So it's not the fridge. Cooking, we were like, okay. So a friend of ours said, listen, your hot plate, it might be killing you. And I'm like, well, we don't really cook that often, maybe 3 times a week. But I said, okay, sounds good. The next time we cook, I'm going to plug it in, and we're going to run it on the meter the whole time. Well, to cook up a meal, it was at zero point 0.4 of a kilowatt hour, which is quite high. But if we only cook 3 times a week, which really is a little bit of sometimes 2, sometimes 4, let's say 3 times a week, that still only works out to about 5 kilowatt hours per month. Nowhere near what we were thinking. The kettles use a lot of energy, but it's done in 20 seconds, 30 seconds. The water's already boiling. But when we ran it on that, it was about 0.3 of a kilowatt hour per day. And we do make a lot of coffee. So that's 9 kilowatts of energy per month. The television, it's very tiny, less than 5 kilowatt hours per month. Can't be that. And then the biggest thing we expected to have for consumption in our house was our computers. We have big computer setups, big, massive monitors, all that kind of stuff. Lighting sometimes when we do lives, or like what I'm doing right now. And mine is a gaming laptop. Hers is a gaming computer. We expected them to use a lot. And we ran meters on those as well. And we did it on the busiest days possible and over several days. What mine worked out to was 2 kilowatt hours per day, which, yeah, it's big, but that's only 60 kilowatt hours in a whole month. Not the culprit to this problem. Then Bianca's computer, because hers is a real size PC. She has all kinds of LED lights, 2 monitors, the whole thing. I thought, okay, well, maybe that. When she's streaming for many hours on a time, you can, it uses a lot of energy in order to play a very good game and broadcast it out along with video. But no, actually her computer wasn't too bad at all. And it used 4 kilowatt hours over 3 days of streaming, playing the games, everything else. And so worst case, hers is only going to be 40 kilowatt hours per month. Of course, mine uses more because I'm the one that does the editing, and mine always is processing video and stuff like that. It will use more. So again, there we go. Between the two things that I thought would be the most detrimental, it works out to 100 kilowatt hours, which is only 10%. And so when you take the air conditioning and you take the computers into context, not what we thought. So all that we have, there's nothing really else that's plug-in here except for some fans, is the things that aren't plug-in, which is our split aircon, the lights that are in the ceiling, which we don't really use a lot of lights, for when I'm recording or something like that. But for the most part, we close all blinds, keep places dark as possible, and have no lights. If somebody came in our house during the day, they'd be like, oh my gosh, it's so dark in here. And then at night, only the room we're in. So we don't use a lot in lights, but lights don't use that much electricity, let's be honest. Because all of the things that I mentioned that were plug-in, we're only at 309 kilowatt hours, which, it's high, but not that terrible, right? That's pretty decent at 14 cents per kilowatt hour. That'll be like 3,500 pesos. And then you have your plug-in items. So that means there's 713 kilowatt hours left that can only be the split aircon, the lights, our fans, which I didn't bother testing them because they really don't use that much electricity, and our water pump, which again, no more than twice a week. Usually only once a week, but say twice a week. So 713 kilowatt hours can't possibly be those 3 items. So now we're at a loss. We're not sure what to do. We've had electricians go through the whole place. We already don't use any electricity. The fuse is disconnected for our whole living room, all our outside lights, our bathroom downstairs. There's so much that's missing out there. The water heater. It's just not adding up. And we're not sure what to look and check anymore. And unfortunately, none of the hardware stores had the hanging meters that you could hang on a wired-in line to be able to read those. So all we could do is just turn everything else off and go to the panel. Just don't see anything suspicious. And it's really hard when it's 12 feet in the air to measure very accurately of how many times it's spinning around or how long it's taking to spin around. But it certainly doesn't seem to be, it's not flying. It's not going like crazy like it did with the grounded line. I don't know what to do anymore. We're not sure. Our bill this month is 1,024 kilowatt hours. That is almost 100 kilowatt hours more than we used our worst month yet. We don't know. We don't know what we're supposed to do. Good news is the bill is actually slightly less because this one is only 13,000 and only, let me see, 13,555 pesos. So the rate per kilowatt hour has dropped because the other one was higher and only 950 kilowatt hours. So yeah, we have a small saving grace there, but this is not cool. I don't know what to do. So reaching out to all of you, I have talked to electrician friends. They're just like, oh, check your hot plate, check this, check that. We've done all that. I don't know. I don't know. We've checked to make sure. We had the meter inspected by the electrical company that came out and looked at it. Said there's nothing wrong with the meter. It tests out perfectly. We had our lines checked to make sure there was nobody stealing electricity, that kind of thing. Couldn't find anything. Turn off the power, nothing happens, that kind of thing. Even at night, we tried different things all the time. Plus, the electricians checked all the lines, confirmed everything. So here we are. You know, when you get a lemon car, I feel like that's what, where everything goes wrong and nobody ever can figure out why. I feel like that's what we're dealing with right now, but with a house. And so that's where we're at. I'm looking for you guys to help me with suggestions on this. What can we do? What's the next thing that we can check on this thing? Because I'm out of options. I'm out of thoughts. I don't know what to do. So anyway, hope you can help. Thank you guys, and we'll see you again on the next episode.